What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Moose Milk Podcast. This is episode 90. We made it to 90. I'm your host, Ryan. Just waiting for At Customs by Matthew, Mr. Matthew, to join us. But I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a great week. Getting to the end of November here. And it was actually not too cold here this week, which is really nice. Because last week it was freezing. But this week, not too bad. Tonight we're going to talk the Andor Finale and the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special that just came out yesterday on Disney+. Both of those are on Disney+. So, spoilers if you have not watched those yet. There'll be spoilers in here. But Matthew has joined us. Here we go. Mr. Matthew.
What up, son?
How's it going, sir?
Just being healthy and drinking a smoothie.
Wow, look at you.
Mm-hmm.
Like a golden god.
It's one of the only ways I'll get my veggies.
Yeah, that's why I'm drinking a Coke.
Excellent. I also have a bubbly, but...
Chock full of veggies in the Coke.
It's all that broccoli and cauliflower.
Yeah, just imagine like making a smoothie with a Coke and broccoli and cauliflower.
I actually do like broccoli. It's like one of the only vegetables I like.
I love vegetables, but I just never eat them because I don't know, I'm lazy and they've got steam on my cocoa.
Yeah.
I don't feel like
that's the problem. You have to do something to them and then deal with them, which is not as hard as like a piece of pizza.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I'm fat and unhealthy.
Preach, brother, preach.
How are you? What's new? How was your week?
It was wonderful. I was off this week, and I just kind of like hung around and. I smoked a good amount of weed, and I like just fucking did shit. I did one thing every day, kind of like something that's been on my to-do list that I just haven't had time to since life's been crazy for the last like 5 months.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so it was a great week. I reorganized my closet. I kind of like took everything out, all the fixtures and stuff, and put new fixtures in so I could get more space. And then I kind of organized everything. I'm going to be doing like a sale of a bunch of action figures and stuff. It's just like been sitting in a bin forever. And I'm like, I just need to get rid of this. So I priced everything out and I'm going to post it tomorrow and then finish my Secret Santa figure. I started redoing some of my shelves because I had a bunch of stuff to add.
When is your Secret Santa reveal?
So it's finished now. It's ready to go. I got to drop it in the mailbox tomorrow. So it'll probably take like 10 days or something. Maybe not even 8 days to get there, probably.
And that's when like everybody's going to start revealing shit, or no?
Well, we've already started having stuff getting revealed. So if anybody wants to follow along, basically what it is it's like a custom figure swap. It's big this year. It's at Legendary Secret Swap. On Instagram, and we run the Secret Santa during the summer into the winter, and then we run the summer swap, which is like a summer version basically. So we do 2 a year, and December 1st is like technically the shipping due date, but we've already had 2 reveals. By Monday there'll be another 2 people who have their figures in hand, and then there's like 7 or 8 or 9 even in transit by then, should be. So
the next couple weeks we'll have a lot of stuff going on there.
Yes, yeah. So I'm excited. I'm actually going to do a live stream on Whip Wednesday Live the 14th, I think it is. I'm going to have Wes, who runs the event with me, and Draven, the guys who both, like Draven does the summer one and then we do the winter one. Yep. But I'm going to help Draven with the summer one this time, I think, do all the social media stuff, just because I'm good at it and I can and I stay on top of it. And it's it's an inconvenience if you're not already always doing that. So.
Yeah, well, the one thing I can definitely say about you is you're the most organized person I know. So,
like, this week was awesome because it's like every time I had an idea, I just like prepped an Instagram post because I could just stop everything and do it because I had nothing going on. So it's like even right now, like if I go into my thing, I have drafts for like 10 like posts probably that are just like all I need to do is on a rainy day just hit publish, right? So it's like I kind of do stuff in advance so I can just like I'm on top of it. I don't have to like stop and do it right then and there. I made this awesome The Rock figure.
That is very dope.
It's not. I just kit bashed it basically. I just updated the articulation using existing parts. I did no painting or anything like that, but
I like it.
It's good. It was a modern Rock, and I just put like a Attitude Era, like trunks and face.
Yeah, so. The better version. Anisa Gawa, what up? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Oh yes, hello. Yeah, so I had a great week. Oh, I also played Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge. I beat
How did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it. It was so fucking fun. After
it's
I
so
beat
retro.
It and got Casey Jones, I was like, I want to play a little bit more. So I went back and played a bunch of Casey. It was cool.
Yeah. I love that it's just so like SNES era like a game. Like I mean the graphics and like it runs better and smoother and everything, but like it's just straight out of that era.
Yeah. It's like whoever made it is like a fan of the NECA figures that I collect, the Toon line, because it's just like there's so many things that are relevant, like for when it came out to like what was out at that time. Right. And it's just like little things like accessories and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, holy shit, that's very on point. That's exactly what we got. With the NECA ones, so.
There's probably like marketing ties that they like did that on purpose, I assume, but who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah.
What did you do this week? You weren't on vacation, so yours was less exciting than mine was.
Work is a nightmare, and I've been so exhausted and fucking. Yeah, Wednesday I worked so hard that my back like totally gave out on Thursday, so I basically just laid around all day Thursday. So, yeah, I read a book. Because I would be laying around, so I read the...
Hi, Zarly K.
I read the new Matthew Perry book, the memoir.
Oh, cool.
Really interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting if you're a Friends fan or just a Matthew Perry fan in general. I don't want to spoil anything out of the book, but it's definitely worth a good read, and it gives you a lot more appreciation for Friends because he was really fucked up during a lot of that show, so...
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's lived a fucking hard life, man. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, I read that, and then I started watching Friends again.
Oh, nice.
It just got me in the mood, so I started at season 1, and I'm like, I don't know, 10 episodes in, maybe. Nice. That show holds up pretty fucking well, man. Like, obviously, like,
I watch it, I laugh. I always get a laugh. It's not one of those ones that I watch. I probably can't even say I've watched all of them, but like every time, like Kate really likes it, so it tends to be on in our house. So
yeah, no, like I mean, obviously, like the wardrobes and styles and shit are all super dated, but like generally, like show's still funny. The like life commentary on stuff like still holds up pretty well. Like it doesn't date itself into like 1993 at all. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that, and then there's a new show on Netflix called 1899. It's very weird. It's a German show that like you can watch it with English dubs, but I would recommend watching it with subtitled in German. But it's like a science fiction-y mystery show, basically. I'm sure you haven't watched it, but there's a show called Dark on Netflix that's like super bizarre and weird and all over the map and like really like mind-bending stuff. Like if you love science fiction, I definitely really recommend it. But you obviously have to really watch it because it's all subtitled.
Right. That's fine for me because honestly, I always have subtitles on because I'm.
So do I. Yeah, I basically, if anybody has any type of accent in a show, I'm not going to pick up 75% of what they're saying. So I always have subtitles on.
Same here.
But yeah, 1899 is like a new show from the creator of Dark, and yeah, I recommend it. It's weird as shit, and you're gonna have to give it a lot of time because it's, I think, 8 episodes, and like you're not gonna have a fucking clue of what's going on until like episode 5 or 6. Like it's
sounds like it's something that I won't be watching.
Yeah, I don't think you would enjoy it just because it's something that you're not gonna get into right away. Like it's like an 8-hour dive into the show, but it like ends really cool and it has pretty rad ending once you kind of start figuring out what's happening. So I recommend it if you're into sci-fi shows. And then I also watched the documentary on Netflix, Pepsi Where's My Jet, about a guy that battled Pepsi in like the 90s because they had, I don't know if you remember Pepsi Points in the 90s.
I do remember Pepsi Points.
Yeah, so in like, I think it was like 95, they did like a commercial where they were showing off all the Pepsi things that you could get, like if you saved up enough points, and it was like sunglasses and a leather jacket, blah, 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 and it all had a point value attached to it.
Right.
And then at the end of the commercial, it had a kid landing in a jet, like an airplane jet, and it said like 8 million points. And there was no like haha joking or like disclaimer at the bottom of the thing. So a kid saved up 8 million points and handed them to Pepsi, and he's like, I want my jet. And Pepsi was like, no, like that's a joke. We're not doing that. And he's like, well, it doesn't say that in your commercial. That's false advertising. So it's like a whole thing about like the advertising, how and like the lawsuit that happened and Pepsi fighting it and like everything like that. But yeah, it's interesting. It was good.
It's interesting. It kind of relates to one of the things I watched this week, but I can't remember the name of it. But it was I walked in like halfway while Kate was kind of watching it, and it's a documentary about the first McDonald's monopoly. Have you seen
in Canada?
That?
I haven't seen the doc that you're talking about, but I know it was all fake.
Yeah, it was all fake. I don't know if it was necessary, if it was Canada. I thought it was American, but I might be wrong. But basically, yeah, like what happened was they link it and find out that like it's all rigged to like set up so the people who win this money, like all these prizes, all like kind of have like loose connections to one another and like
right.
Yeah,
I read a whole article about like it was like executives like cousins or something like winning all the shit or something, right?
No, it was the marketing it actually McDonald's.
Oh, the big marketing. Okay,
like the marketing company who set up the promotion for them actually rigged it. So
yeah, man, like all these like early giveaway things all seem like they were all like fucking fake as shit and like just basically made so you buy more shit.
Yeah, the thing is for me is I've always been I've never really fallen for that kind of stuff in the sense that like it's a lot like the lottery, right? It's like, man, if you invest money into the lottery, of course you have good chances of winning the lottery because you're playing. But it's like, my chances of ever winning the lottery are so slim because I never buy a lottery ticket. Like I maybe buy them like once a year, maybe.
My grandpa played the lottery literally every week of his life. Like honestly, I every time he always had lottery tickets, man. And I don't think that guy ever won anything more than like $50. Like it was never like he probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars throughout his life on the lottery, and I bet you he never won 1/10 of what he spent on it, right? Like all those things are kind of scammy in a way where it's like, yeah, you have a percentage chance of winning, but
they're
it's
not
so small.
Scammy. It's just I always treat lottery as something where it's like it's a chance to get something for not that much. So it's like so it's like in that sense, it's like I get it. You spend $5 every week for your entire life for the chance that you might at one of those times rack out and get $1 million or something like that. So it's like I didn't mean
scammy in like you're no chance of winning way, but scammy in a way of like the percentage is so low, like the actual chance of you winning it's nil, Yeah.
It's not likely.
My only thing I ever really did as like a kid like that was I remember Kool-Aid points on the back of like Kool-Aid packet.
Yeah.
I remember collecting them because they had Maximum Carnage for Sega Genesis. If you collected enough points, you could get that game. And I was like, dead set, like, I'm going to get this fucking game, man. And by the time I had enough points, it didn't matter because Sega Genesis didn't exist anymore. And it was just completely pointless.
Yeah, I used to collect Kool-Aid points too, but I don't think I ever actually sent them in anywhere. I think I just collected them forever, like a weirdo.
Same.
And then probably like stuff from like magazines or comic books and stuff too. I probably did a little bit, but
never did.
Again, anyway. I don't know if I actually ever sent them in. For some reason, when I was younger, sending a letter seemed like it was like some seriously daunting shit. So I don't think I ever did.
Daunting to me.
Now it's part of the gig for me. So it's nothing.
I don't know if I've ever sent a letter.
I mean more like parcels nowadays, I guess, but it's the same thing. But
I don't think I've ever sent a parcel.
Craziness.
Who am I sending anything to? I don't even know why mail still exists, other than like Amazon delivery.
You mailed me something last year.
Yeah, but I didn't mail it to you. Amazon sent it to you.
I guess that's a good point.
I had nothing to do with it. That was all Amazon.
I guess that's a good point. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm sure people love hearing about our.
We go on tangents all the time. That's what we're here for. All right. I don't think I did. No. I finished. I don't know if I finished this last week or not, but I finished God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, nice! You did, and you like it? How are you happy with that?
Yeah, it's great. I wouldn't give it a perfect 10 like a lot of places gave it. Like, I think the first one's a better game, better story. I give it a solid like high 8s, low 9s out of 10. Like, it's very good, but nice. It's not like mind altering. It's more of a continuation of the first game. So, but I recommend it regardless. But yeah. That's about it. You?
I watched a few things, but nothing too crazy. I continued my Christmas themed watching party after our show last week, and I watched the 3 Community Christmas episodes, which was always fun. And then during the week, I kind of picked up some more Always Sunny, which was good. Nothing too crazy. And then after I watched the Guardians Christmas special, I was like, I kind of want to watch Guardians 1 again. So I watched Guardians 1, and then... I
had the same feeling. I was like, as soon as I finished watching that, I was like, damn, I kind of want to watch Guardians 1 again.
Yeah. Just the first one. The second one was whatever, but the first one, I was like...
First one's still good.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's still one of my faves. And then the last thing we watched was, I kind of like half watched it, but Kate watched, there's this documentary on HBO about Lizzo. I can't remember what it's called. Something with Lizzo's name in it, but it's pretty good. I watched it with her and it's cool. Ever since we've seen her in concert, I'm like, man, her music's super catchy, so it's just constantly in my head.
Word. I couldn't name you a song by her.
I know you don't strike me as the Lizzo type.
Couldn't tell you a song by her, couldn't tell you an album by her, couldn't tell you a pick her out of a crowd.
That's fair.
Yeah. No. I got off topic kind of, but Our Lady Peace is coming to the casino, so I got tickets for that too.
Yes. Oh, nice. How much were they?
$55.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like, that's fair. I'll spend $50.
Yep.
So then I listened to all their albums again because, I don't know, I was just in the mood. And man, they really went downhill after like 1999, 2000.
I mean, that happens. That's the thing, especially when bands hit it big, like not right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to maintain that momentum usually, because usually it's kind of like a one-off thing.
Yeah, their first 4 albums, I think, fucking are incredible, and then they just completely, for me, it's just like,
It's like the Plain White Tees, I always say. It's like they got popular off Hey There, Delilah, which is like nothing like any other songs.
No,
and then it's like,
and I hate that song more than any fucking song in the world.
I liked it until like the radio just destroyed it, but yeah.
They used to play it at work like every 3 hours or something like that. So I'd hear it like 2 or 3 times a night.
When I still worked there.
This is like recent. Like, I bet you within the last like 3 years, they were playing that song every 3 hours. And I was like, every time it came on, I was ready to fucking go into the cooler and hang myself. So, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I listened to Jimmy. I've been listening to Jimmy Eat World Bleed America. That's fucking awesome.
No, that album's so good.
It's a good album for this time of year, especially.
Is that your favorite album, by the way?
Like, probably, yeah.
I think I like Futures better.
I love Clarity.
Yeah, I know you do.
Clarity is Clarity's a lot like Steel Train to me. That it was like, it's very, like, it's important to me because of the time and like what it meant to me in the time. It's like, but like I feel like Clarity hasn't aged as well as Bleed America has for me.
Yeah.
I know you would agree with that. No matter.
I never liked Clarity. Like I always thought Clarity was a really weak album. I got into them off of Bleed America. Like that's when I really started liking them. And then
I did too. I got into them.
Yeah.
Bleed America.
And then I remember
my roommate got me into Clarity, and like one night I just kind of had like this like super trippy night. He's like, if you're gonna do mushrooms, you should listen to Clarity in headphones with the lights off and just like fucking enjoy it. It's like a crazy and like man, it was fucking, especially Goodnight Sky Harbor, right? That's what it's called. Yeah, the last song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't know because you don't even like that CD. The last song is like 16. Yeah, the last song is like 16 minutes long. And it's just like crazy, and it's like drum loops, and it's just all kinds of crazy loops and stuff, and it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, so, like when Bleed America came out, I was like, oh my god, they have 2 other albums, and I was so excited. And then I downloaded Static Prevails and Clarity, and I was like, ugh.
I don't like Static Prevails at all.
No, neither do I.
But I do like Clarity though. But
and then I didn't even really like Futures. Like I liked the first half of Futures, and then I could like once it gets kind of mellow, I was like, eh. And then when I was dating Ashley,
more now than I did then. Like when it first came out, it was one of those things that I listened to for like a couple weeks, and I was like, yeah, I'm over it.
When I was with Ashley, like that was her favorite album. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she put it on a lot, and then I just like really started liking it. I was like, oh fuck, this is really good.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we've been listening to that, and we've been listening to the second brand new album.
Oh, Deja?
Yeah, Deja Entendu.
Deja's so good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's another band where I don't like their first album, but fuck, do I love the rest of their shit.
I love their first album.
I like songs like
that's where I got into brand new though. It's like that's the thing for me. That's usually what happens. It's like the albums that are always my favorite with bands are the ones that I either get into them on or the first one that I got to be excited about. Usually those are the ones that like because you know I think of bands like New Found Glory, and it's like I love self-titled, but I still think my favorite of all time is
Sticks and Stones.
Sticks and Stones, because like that was the first one that I was able to like get amped for. Like I was like so excited for it to come out, right? But like by the time I was a New Found Glory fan, self-titled was already out. So like I was enjoying it because it was great. But yeah, the first one I got to be excited for the release of was Sticks and Stones.
Same. I mean, with brand new, I knew Jude Law and Semester Abroad because it was on the radio all the time. And that's what got me into them. But when Deja came out, I was like, holy shit, this is fucking masterful. So
yeah, man. Well, it's a pretty big shift for them too, right? Stylistically,
totally.
It's like a different band. So fucking A.
Yeah, man. Brand new, fucking the best. So good live.
They are very good live. I'm a fan. I am a fan.
All right. We should get into this because we're already almost half hour in.
We are. How about that?
What do you want to talk about first? Andor? Or?
Let's talk about Andor. Andor.
It was a fucking delight.
Yeah, man. It sure was. Andor was fantastic. The ending was great. Like, the whole last episode was awesome. I didn't want it to fucking end.
Same. I was so bummed when it was over because I was like, man, we're going to have like a year plus wait to the next season, and it's so fucking good. I think it's I think it's better than anything they've done outside of Rogue One since Empire. Like I think it's like my third favorite thing of Star Wars.
Yeah, man, it's definitely ranks high up there for me. I need to like I have a hard time putting shit in a place until I go back and watch again. Like usually I need some time away from it and then like I'll go back and rewatch it. Cuz it's funny cuz it's things like Mandalorian season 2, like I really loved it when I watched it, but when I went back and watched it again, I didn't like it as much. Like
Yeah.
whereas season 1 was the opposite. Season 1 I liked, and then when I went back and watched it again, I was like, man, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I really do love that first season too.
Me too. I think Mando season 1 still beats Andor for me, but like the thing I like about Andor is like I like that it's refreshing while feeling like it blends with the old. Like, and again, like it's all those firsts. It's the swearing, it's the implied sex, it's the just like a more mature tone for Star Wars. Like,
yeah, and it's like
it's been very enjoyable to like basically just do something where the only familiar character is Andor of all people. Like, what I mean?
It's like it's the tone and like just like the tenseness of like the episodes where like you're on the edge of your seat for so much of this stuff, and like the music and everything just gets you so into the episode, and it's like holy shit, like this is what Star Wars should be, like, period. Moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's a place for it, right? Like, the thing I kind of like about it is, like, I love that we're seeing, like, the dark side of the rebellion. Like, I like how we've got, like, someone like Luthen who's just, like, willingly, like, just letting people go because, they're less harmful to the cause than, like, losing somebody else, like Saw, who, like, has, knowledge that of Luthen, maybe even that like they don't want to get out kind of thing, right? So like,
well, everybody's
I love
kind of like two-faced in a way, right? Where they have like their public persona and then they have this like rebel side, and everybody's playing this like cup and ball kind of game of like, who can I tell this to? Oh, gotta be careful not to say this to this person, and like letting only a certain amount of people in on your actual like life. And like everybody's playing that same game, and it's just that's what makes it so fascinating. It's like everybody's afraid they're going to get found out, but everybody's kind of in on something.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like there was a lot to like. I liked is it Minerva? Is that her name, or
Merva?
Merva. Yeah, okay, whatever her name is. Anyway, but her big like hologram at the end there, and like that whole speech was fucking fantastic. I was just like, yeah, this is great.
Just with like the intensity of the music behind it too, and like the like sledgehammer thing on the anvil or whatever the hell it was. Like,
that was dope.
Fuck, man, it got me so like pumped up. I was just like, this is awesome. And her speech was just totally like, you knew it was building to this like crescendo of like a fight scene or of some sort, and I was just like, oh man, this is awesome. It was, I loved it. I want to already like binge watch the entire series again, because I was just like, this is fucking great. But I think I'm waiting until the second season's ready to come out, and then I'll just binge watch it all again.
Nice. I'll probably do it before that, but like just I usually wait like 4 or 5 months. I might try to push Kate to watch it because one of her best friends is like obsessed with it. And like he keeps talking about how good it is, and she's like, she asked me, she's like, "Is Andor good?" And I'm like, "Man, Andor is like the best Star Wars we've got for like."
Other than Rogue One, I think it's the best Star Wars thing since Empire.
Yeah, I think I like Mando better, but I like Rogue One better than I like Mando. This is pretty fucking close, to be honest. Like, it's awesome.
Totally, it's I love it. I think honestly, if I didn't have so much nostalgia for like the original trilogy, like if it wasn't such a huge part of my childhood, I would probably say this might be like my favorite Star Wars thing.
Yeah. Well, again, because it's just like it's a refreshing view on what we have known forever, right? It's almost like updated, where it's like like that childish shine has been like dulled down, and it's now this kind of like gritty, more realistic, more
it's growing up with us.
Yeah, like it's pretty cool.
It's kind of how I felt about Harry Potter, honestly. is like those early Harry Potter movies are so like kid friendly and so like kind of like flights of, you know, like childish whimsy or whatever, and then like that shit gets so dark by the end, and it's like it really grows up with the kids. And like this is kind of how I feel with Star Wars. Is like we've gotten the childish Disney shit of Star Wars for so long, and this is like the first super mature look at like, hey, this is something for adults. Like this is awesome.
Yeah, man, it's great. It's nice to have. So, trying to think. We didn't cover. What was your like favorite? Like, okay, so we always say that like usually the Disney Plus shows have the last episode usually is not the best episode. Usually that's like the second to last. Do you feel the same about?
No, I think this is the best episode. I think the finale was phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was the best episode, but I think it was better than the second to last. Like to me, my favorite episode still is the
heist.
Was it episode 6? The heist? Like, man, my palms were sweaty from the beginning of that episode to the end. Like it was just like until we were out of there and we knew, which was like right at the end there, just like oh my god, like way too close for comfort.
Yeah, totally. It feels like this could have been broken into 2 seasons, like two 6-episode seasons. But I'm so glad it wasn't. Like I'm so glad it stayed 12 episodes because, like, man, I wish it was 30 episodes. Just go on forever. Like it is fucking great.
Well, I read today that apparently season 2 is gonna basically do like 3 4-episode story arcs that take place at different points between when Andor finishes and or a year after Andor finishes to right when Rogue One starts. So like the stories will gap. So like it'll start with maybe the one that's like right after Andor season 1 or a year after, I think they said it was. And then the next one will fast forward like another like few years or 5 years or whatever like that. And then the next one will fast forward to like right before Rogue One. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I hope it ends.
It was like going to be 3 seasons, but I guess not.
No, just 2. Yeah. I hope it ends like tying directly into Rogue One so that you can just watch it seamlessly. Like
it'd be cool if we found out what he was talking to that guy about at the beginning of Rogue One. You know, the guy he ultimately ends up shooting, the guy that runs
at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to know like what that was about. Like it'd be cool to have some.
I think we'll get that. I think they'll tie it in together pretty well. Like it seems like they're building out a lot of characters here to set them up for something in the second season. Yeah. So I love that droid too. Like
K2SO or the red astronaut?
The red whatever. Yeah. I can't remember his name, but
I can't either.
I love him. Like I want a Lego figure of him.
I like him too. He's cool. I wonder if he'll show up again. He's got to show up again.
His little like stutter he does is like I love him.
Yeah, me too. Did you happen to catch in one of the previous episodes or the earlier episodes where there's like a flashback to when they're all younger or whatever, when Andor was just a kid and they're escaping, and that droid doesn't have the stutter at that point. Like he's talking normal. I don't remember that. Yeah, it's in it's the scene where they explain where Andor meets his mom for like when they find him in that base, you know?
Yeah. I think it was like episode 3.
It's in that flashback where like they flash back to that and the droid's in it and he's talking, but he doesn't have a stutter.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's B2 emo.
B2 emo.
Which I think is funny.
Ashaholic says maybe we can get a Dash Rendar to join the universe. Oh my god, I fucking would love that.
That'd be great.
They're gonna for sure use. I think in the comic book,
the Empire would be stupid not to use fucking Dash or something like that. Like some bounty hunter. That'd be awesome.
The thing is I know that in the comic books they've referenced Prince Shizor, so like that's the bad guy from Shadows of the Empire. So like I can imagine that it's not off the table that Dash is either coming or, you know, we may get a different backstory for him or something, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got Dash Rendar.
Man, I'm so excited. I hope it's not like 2024 when we get this. I hope it's like late next year we get it, but
that'd be sick.
Fuck, I can't wait.
I was really wondering if we might see Dr. Aphra somewhere in this from the comics. She plays an important part in the comic book side of the like original trilogy era, like the right after the Battle of Yavin.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she's like a friend of Vader's who like betrays the Empire eventually and keeps betraying everybody else.
You think we'll get Vader in season 2?
I honestly hope not. I don't.
I do too.
We need it. Like I just don't think we need it. Like it's kind of been nice to take a break from that.
I totally agree.
And I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can't complain with Disney Vader because it seems like every time he shows up, he's ready to fuck shit up. So
yeah.
like I'm on board for that part, but I just don't like. I feel like we could just get a mention of Vader, or maybe we get Emperor Palpatine or something instead. Like I just don't know if we need it. That's all.
I think the threat of the Empire is more scary than actually showing them. Like
I agree. I think this show shows that. Like
yeah, totally. Like just dealing with Dedra or whatever her name is, like that she's scary enough, and like now to see like what happens out of the fallout of everything that happens in the finale, like with her, but like she's relentless and fucking unnerving when she's on screen. It's like we don't need Vader choking out people. Like Vader's dope, don't get me wrong, but like I don't think we need it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And like even like the end credit scene in this, like didn't need it. I mean, we know that that's what it's building towards, but like it didn't add anything for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they did because I was curious. So like for anybody who doesn't know, and obviously we're talking spoilers, there's an after credit scene for this where they show what those things they were making in prison were, and it basically is just like piecing together the laser part of the Death Star. It kind of like zooms out and you can see that it's like the lasers being kind of built and put together and going into the Death Star, and that's what they were building in the prison there. So like for me it was cool. Like that part was cool because it was just an after credit and like it was kind of the first sign of like a larger universe. But like it was cool more for me because it kind of confirmed what I assumed. I kind of assumed, given the timeline and that we didn't ever find out what they were building, that they were basically doing something to enhance the Death Star or build the Death Star, like in terms of like the parts they needed or whatever.
The framework or whatever.
I just assumed that was what it was because once they escaped, we never heard anything again, and it felt like those last 2 episodes were not going to be the place where they'd be like, oh, hey, by the way, I was building these things. And they're like, oh, that's for the Death Star.
Yeah. If it was shown in dialogue, that would have been terrible.
Yeah, so I just kind of figured because we didn't get payoff that it had something to do with that.
But we now know that like a bunch of like engineers and shit didn't really die in the Death Star explosion or whatever. It's all droids building it.
Well, I mean, they eventually all moved in there because it becomes the base of operations.
I guess.
But yes.
Unpaid contractors,
I get it. Gotta do what you gotta do. The Star Wars world.
Gotta make your money.
Overall, I fucking loved Andor. I thought it was amazing. I hope that more people, because I heard that its ratings aren't like nearly as good as any of the other Disney Plus shows, which is a pity because people
like I said, burnout's real, man. They're doing overkill on shows, and I think people are just like, fuck, it's another show that I have, like, fuck off. Give me some space. Yeah. I think they should make them.
The thing is like no one's putting a gun to their head to watch it. You know what I mean? Like
no, but I think a lot of people will pick it up during the holidays. I think now that it's all done, people want to binge watch it. They can do it during Christmas break or whatever, and it's there. Like, I just think they'd be smart to just make these like more special in a way, like more. I don't know, like more rare, kind of like, okay, we're giving you like one big Star Wars show a year or whatever, but.
But the thing is I get the other side where it's like if Disney Plus wants to be relevant and wants to compete with Netflix, compete with Amazon, compete with HBO, like you need to have regular content consistently. And like That's the problem, right? Is like this is ultimately driven because they're trying to beat their competitors. They're trying to be like, all right, you put out 10 shows a year, well, we put out 10 shows a year, and they're all MCU and some Star Wars, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
but
it's like,
I mean, I mean, we can dive into this now, I guess, but like, there's massive rumors that they just are going to buy Netflix. So,
yeah, you mentioned that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it would pass like antitrust laws and stuff like that because you got to start thinking about monopoly on the entertainment
Yep.
industry, and so there's a lot of stuff like that it
So
may
the
not
thing
work.
is
But
you could basically have like the two biggest streaming giants under one roof, and they could be like, no, you pay $30 or you miss out on everything.
yeah, but I think like the mergers kind of have to happen. Like, obviously, it sucks that Disney is going to own everything. It's not good because there's no competition, but like,
Yes.
we got into this world of streaming because people were sick of paying for cable packages of 6 trillion channels. You didn't watch 90% of them, and the packages got outrageous. And now it's just back to that. It's like, okay, well, here's 8 streaming services that if you want to watch everything, you're going to pay $125 a month to watch every show. And it's like, we need mergers, especially in the States. Hulu, Peacock, fucking, HBO Max, fucking Disney Plus, Netflix, Prime, like Apple Plus. It's just like, all right, it's a little much, man. So I could totally see like Peacock going away and somebody buying it, and like all these smaller ones just slowly getting picked up by these bigger ones. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens, but like streaming is losing Disney like massive amounts of money. Like, they're not profitable at all. So whether they keep pouring this amount of money into this, we'll see, because they lost, I think, $1.5 billion last quarter on Disney Plus.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, like it's a lot. Like you got to think of like how high budget these shows are.
Yeah,
and how many of them they're putting them out. And you're not getting that kind of revenue back from $150 a year for 20 million people or whatever. Like, it's just not it's not possible.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
interesting.
We'll see.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, that is a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? There's so many rumors out there that Disney's going to buy TikTok, that Disney's going to buy Netflix, that Disney's looking at video game companies to purchase because they don't have their own video game developer that could make like Disney products. So they're looking into that. There's rumors that they want to buy Nintendo so that they would be another kid-friendly avenue.
That would be crazy. Imagine and then you could do like Mario World and shit at Disney World and stuff.
Well, that's what they're thinking is like you could bring in a whole Mario universe into Disney World, Disneyland, plus like all the games of like all the Disney
movies?
Stuff. Yeah, well, movies too. Like that Mario movie that comes out next year. I mean, who knows what the quality of that's going to be, but
yeah, hard to say.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. That would be fucking nuts. That would be, that'd be crazy if that happened. I don't know. I guess time will tell. But
yeah, Guardians
holiday special. So we haven't spoken about this because I didn't know. You want me to talk or do you want to talk?
Yeah, you go. What did you think of Guardians?
I liked it. I thought it was really fun. I mean, I think it was corny, but in fairness, the corniness came from the characters who were playing them. Like Drax and Mantis in particular were pretty corny to me, but like those characters are corny, and I don't know. There was a lot of stuff that I loved about this. I loved I'll get into that when we get into it. I liked it, honestly. Like I watched it twice. It wasn't like it was what it was, but like for me it was fun and it like was Christmassy, so I like that. And I don't know, it kind of reminded me a little bit more of like old school Guardians, and like I like that like family feel they have. So
I loved it.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah. Nice. I wasn't sure.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny too.
Like, I didn't find it corny at all. I love Drax and Mantis. I love their relationship. I love the way they like are like this couple that's not really a couple, but like Mantis always is yelling at Drax because Drax is insane, and like, just I don't know. I thought it was a lot of fun. I was disappointed at the beginning because it started being all animated and shit.
Animated?
I'm like, oh,
as soon as it
fuck
started
off.
animated, I'm like, this isn't animated, is it? And I'm like, Ryan's gonna hate this.
I was like, the trailer was live action. Why are we getting a fucking animated thing? And then it obviously goes away pretty quickly. And I was like, oh, thank God. But, like obviously it's not the Guardians. I mean, like Groot's barely in it, Rocket's barely in it, you know, but Peter's barely in it. Nebula's not in it at all, or very little.
I think this is a good sign, though. That's going to show you that, like Guardians 3, like Drax and Mantis are probably going to take a backseat pretty quick in it, and the story's going to focus on Peter, Rocket and Nebula, and
No, totally, and like I love the idea of everything that Peter has told them about like Earth backfiring on him. Like that was to me was the funniest part of like of Drax looking at Kevin Bacon as like this warrior that like has done all these like crazy things, and then finding out like, oh, you're just a fucking actor.
I loved all the digs on actors or whatever. Like even at that end part where he's like, where Nebula's like, I can't believe that all actors are pieces of shit.
It's great. But she's like, for me, she's the standout in the show. Like
Nebula or Mantis?
Mantis, like,
yeah, I like Mantis too.
Mantis just fucking made it. She's so funny in it. She's great. Like, I love like the heart of her of like wanting to tell Peter that. I mean, spoilers, I guess, but it's out everywhere now that she's his sister, and like, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really well done. I wish it was longer, honestly.
Yeah, me too. I liked, there was a few things in particular that stood out to me the most as things I liked. I loved like the humor of like Drax and Mantis being on Earth and like thinking that they know what they're talking about, but then not like actually knowing what they're talking about. And then everyone just kind of rolls with it. So like, for example, when Drax flips that cop car over and she goes and gives the candy cane ornament to them, and she's like, now we're even. And
I know.
they're just like, okay. And then she's like, would you say that looks like a little man? And they're just, like, in their mind, they're just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like,
I think they assume that she's on massive amounts of drugs.
But I just loved, like, I loved that element. Like, I loved, like, they were just, like, out of time, out of place.
Totally.
Like, and it just, like, so much of the fun to me was them being out of place, where, like, same even when she walks up to Kevin Bacon's house and Drax gets distracted by the little elf man, and she's like, you can't take that. And then she turns around, she's like, oh!
Yeah. They're, like, so easily distracted by little things, and it's like even Drax just like Mantis is ringing the doorbell, and then Drax just like busts through the window. Like he doesn't seem as how that would be like wrong in any way. Like
I like when Mantis is like, hey Drax, do you think you could throw me over that fence? And he just picks her up and just
yeah, it's great. I loved all that. Like I loved the cop shooting Drax, and he's just like it tickles him. Like it's the bullets aren't even bothering him.
And then like there was some real good stuff in it. Like at the end with the gifts and stuff. Oh man, the gifts were fucking money, man. They were so good. I like Nebula's Bucky arm that she gives to Rocket.
Great. Yeah.
Bucky's arm.
Yeah, it's so great. Like, I love that they reference so many other little things throughout the universe. And, like, I was shocked that Disney allowed them to let Kevin Bacon say Batman.
That is pretty crazy. But I think Bruce Wayne and Batman is public domain now, though, I think.
But still, you would think that Disney wouldn't want them saying, like, hey, reference DC stuff. Especially with James Gunn leaving to go do DC stuff.
The thing is that kind of shit makes people talk. So, and it's not like just because they say it, anything happens. It just means that now everybody's like, does that mean Batman's in the MCU? Does that mean that Bruce Wayne's part of the MCU? Does that mean that that's what's happening? I bet you.
It would not surprise me in the least at all if Disney buys DC. It wouldn't
be. The thing is to me is it's like I always laugh when I see the DC stars who are like, yeah, I think I could see one day Marvel doing a team up with DC, and it's like, why would they ever take the shitty name of DC on and let it smear what they've done with theirs? Like,
it's exactly what happened with Fox, though, dude.
As things go the other way, though, where we start seeing DC get better once it's under James Gunn, because like I don't have any doubt that it will get better under his.
Oh, it can't get worse.
Supervision. Yeah, that's what I mean. It can't get worse. So yeah, but dude, I don't know.
It's exactly the way Fox and everything was, or even Sony with Spider-Man right now. It's like Sony keeps putting out these shitty Spider-Man movies, and it's like Disney wants nothing to do with your Spider universe. I'm sorry, but it's terrible, and they don't give a fuck. But when they want to use your character, then okay, it makes sense for them to let it be included in the MCU. But like, why would they ever be like, oh yeah, you can use Iron Man in your Spider universe? Like, it doesn't benefit them in any way.
Well, they had like, I remember when Remember when Morbius got re-released on the second time in the theater or whatever, because everyone. So apparently, in those re-released versions, they took out the Vulture after credit scene because Kevin Feige wanted to like really distance himself from the movie, or like the MCU from that movie, and he made them take that out. Apparently, I don't know if that's actually true, but I heard that.
I don't know. I mean, I just think like if the MCU or Disney bought DC and then they ended up doing like an Avengers versus Justice League or whatever they wanted to do, I don't know. Like, would it be good? Would it be Disneyfied? Would they take like a darker material and make it very like Disney-like? Who knows? But I think that's the only way like DC's ever like going to get really fucking like popular in the way that the MCU has.
The thing is the DCU is set up for success right now because, like you said, they can't get worse. I mean, they could.
They can't, but how many times are you going to redo like Superman or fucking like Batman? How many versions of Batman do you want to?
I know, but what I'm saying is with new people in control that are gonna try to like push a greater, like an overarching story, like having somebody in charge of that is gonna make all the difference there. And like,
I agree, it will help
I
for sure.
Think that unless Marvel really like picks up their socks over the next like couple shows and movies and like delivers something that are like literally home run after home run after home run after home run, people are going to start wanting change because you already see it. Like you can see, so like even just in my local friend group, like I would say where 10 of us watched MCU, pre-Endgame, there's probably only like 3 or 4 of us now who are like really committed to it like we were before. Like,
but you also got to think,
just kind of over it, and they're not happy with what they're getting, so they're like, I'm out.
Right. I agree with you totally. Like, I definitely see it with my friend group too. Is like so many of my friends aren't going to see the movies anymore in theaters, like, or way later. They wait till they're on Disney Plus, whatever it is. Yeah. But, Ant-Man and Guardians are the next two. Both those movies is going to be huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm more excited for Guardians, but
so am I. And it comes out on my birthday, so that's fun.
Nice. I'm really excited for Guardians. I think Guardians is going to be...
I think Guardians is going to be huge. I think that movie's going to be fucking massive, but...
I think I'm going to cry my eyes out.
Oh, 100%. 100%. We're both going to
bawl. Hey, what did you think of Cosmo? Did you like Cosmo? I love Cosmo. He was so cute. So cute. I love Mikey boy.
What's going on?
Just had a nice sesh. Love that.
I don't even remember when Cosmo was introduced. Like,
Guardians.
The end of Guardians 2? Or was it in
credit? Okay. It was after the Collector like wakes up and like his whole place is all like ripped apart from Thanos. Maybe or something, or maybe it's implied that it's Thanos. I don't know. But then like you see Howard the Duck and Cosmo walks by or whatever too.
I remember Howard the Duck. I didn't remember Cosmo at all, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure Cosmo's been in it once before.
I don't know. It's fine. Like, I don't think it was needed, but like I have a feeling Cosmo will be a bigger part of Guardians 3.
Yeah, I think so too. I liked it. I thought it was good. She was really cute too.
I could see
she brings Kraglin that like all fucked up like
Like,
monster thing or whatever.
rat
And
thing,
he
yeah.
comes in front and he's like, oh, and she's just like, yep,
Yeah.
I did good, right?
My dog would totally do that.
Yeah, that we were talking about that. Nike Boy J says my favorite part in the special was when Rocket finally got Bucky's arm.
It's great.
I gotta say, I was reading an article yesterday about that scene with all the presents, and they're talking about the significance of Nebula giving Rocket that gift or whatever, because, and they were saying like how, you know, people probably forget that like the relationship that Rocket and Nebula have, being that like for 5 years during the blip they were the only two Guardians that were left, so like really had to lean on it. And like I totally forgot about that, and I was just like, oh, that's really cool. Forgot about that.
And how many times he was like, I'm gonna get that arm. Like,
yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I'm gonna get that arm.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, I assume that Rocket and Cosmo are going to be like friends in the next movie. I just like both being animals or something. I could totally see that being like totally like a relationship of like Rocket trying to figure out his history and what, you know, what happened to him, and then like Cosmo kind of being there like, you know, his companion kind of, unless like Groot. Like I could totally see them shifting that away.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Speaking of Groot, I liked how excited he was to see Quill when Quill walked out and like they turned all the Christmas lights and stuff on. You know how he like peeks his head around the corner and like I like how he's like going through puberty too. So he's like, I am Groot.
Yeah, it's great.
Did you know that Kevin Bacon is actually like he has like a touring band that he tours with his brother? Did you know that?
Yeah, I read about that before the show came out.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The music in it was good, though. It was funny.
That was good. I agree.
Yep.
I liked it. I like how those guys pick up those instruments and start playing that song at the beginning, and Quill's like, you guys just picked those up, huh?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, I think it was phenomenal. I liked it a lot more than Werewolf by Midnight. Like, if they're going to keep doing these specials, like, I think keep doing them. The 45 minutes is great.
I like the time for sure. I don't know how I would compare it to Werewolf by Night, because I really liked Werewolf by Night, but
sure.
Like this is just kind of it's just they're so different from one another, right?
Yeah,
just,
for sure.
One's like serious and one's kind of like a joke. So,
yeah, but like I could see them doing this like every holiday, like putting out a special and just.
I would love that. I would love that. It'd be fun to get one with Deadpool and it's just Deadpool talking to the camera the whole time. That'd be great.
I could see that on Valentine's Day.
I could also see that. That would be awesome. Valentine's Day special.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Yes. I did. He didn't.
Dankins, not to derail the conversation, but did you guys watch Maverick? Yeah, I did not. Ryan did.
I watched Top Gun Maverick right after that episode aired. That night, I think I watched it.
Yeah, I think so.
It was good. Like, I don't think it's like the best movie of the year, like the way people are making it out to be, and like the fact that it's the highest grossing movie of the year, I think is outrageous. But was it like a great, fun Top Gun or Tom Cruise action flick? Yeah, like it was Mission Impossible combined with fighter jets.
Top Cruise.
Yeah, it's Mission Gun.
Mission.
You know, like I think it's way more of an American thing of being like so pro-military, pro-like fighter jet, you know, America fuck yeah type thing, where I could totally see it being way more popular in the States than it is in Canada. But like,
it was Jesse. Oh, what up, Jesse? Sorry.
I think Top Gun, I haven't seen the original. I didn't watch it, but I think it was a fun movie. I wouldn't watch it again. Like I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again, but it's a fun flick.
Nice. I asked Ryan if I should watch it, and he said it's kind of like Mission Impossible meets, what did you say? Mission Impossible with with fighter jets or something, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's Mission Impossible with fighter jets.
And then I said, well, I'm like, oh, maybe I should watch Mission Impossible first. And he was like, you've never seen Mission Impossible?
That's coming, buddy. When we do another one of pick a movie for each other, I'm making you watch a Mission Impossible.
And The fact of the matter is I'm just not a huge action movie guy. I think that's the.
But I think you would really like at least Mission Impossible 3 and 4. Like,
Yeah.
I think the first two are boring as shit, and the second one's terrible. Like, the second one's awful. I wouldn't make you sit through that. I think the first one's dated and long, but like the third and fourth one are fucking awesome.
We're gonna have to do that pretty soon because we have a couple free weeks coming up, I think, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, we might end up doing the Avatar thing. Who knows?
Yes,
We'll
who
wait for
knows?
reviews, but we'll definitely have like a month. I don't know, a month and a half maybe to come up with different topics and stuff. So I definitely can see us doing a Mission Impossible episode or two.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk about the that rumor that you sent me about the X-Men.
Yeah, the shorts, special presentations.
Yeah. So I don't know where you saw it or whatever, but there's a rumor going around that Disney wants to do introductory shorts on Disney Plus for every single character in the X-Men universe, or at least the important ones that they're going to use in the future X-Men movie, where they want to do like hour-long or 45-minute long, whatever, shorts on each individual character and introduce their background and their history and who they are and everything like that. And like, I'm so into this idea. I would love that.
Me too. I would be so down. Again, like it'd be nice to, because again, what's going to end up happening is you get to the team up part and like it's going to feel a lot like Justice League, where it's just like, I know you guys. Who the fuck are you three? So like being able to do this with the core members of the team and being able to introduce everybody and give either an origin if it's necessary or some kind of pertinent background information, I think would be awesome. So
I totally agree.
I think if we talk about it, I'll let you know when we iron it out. I'll shoot you a message.
Yeah, as soon as Avatar reviews start coming out, we'll look at reviews and we'll judge it off that. And then if it's good, if it's getting good reviews, we'll do an Avatar episode and then Avatar 2 episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, I think for most people, like I don't think you're going into the X-Men movie and going, who the fuck are these characters? Because I just think everybody knows most of these characters at this point. But like, hopefully they want to use some lesser known characters and kind of introduce them that way, so it's just not like a complete rehash of what we've already gotten.
I know I've said this a bunch, but like I would be more than fine with them putting Wolverine on the shelf after this next Deadpool, even though he's my favorite character. And like I would really love to see a properly done like original X-Men, like Cyclops, Jean, Iceman, Angel, Beast.
Totally.
Like, to me, that would be fucking awesome. And they don't have to be kids. Like they could be just like young adults or whatever. I'm cool with that. Like I don't need them to be teenagers, but like it would be really, really awesome if we could get like an updated version of those the original 5.
I totally agree. I think that's actually the way I would do it.
Spenny G. Mr. Sinister would be a great way to kick off. Please, again, shelf Magneto right off the bat too.
Totally
great. Like I'd be nice to get something different that we haven't got. And to be honest, I do think we will get that. I don't think I can't imagine that we'll jump into something we've done before with the MCU stuff. I just can't see that happening.
I think it'd be wise to have varying characters and different age groups. I don't think they need to all be young, but I don't think they all need to be like 22 either. Like have somebody that's in their 40s, have somebody that's in their teens. Like that totally makes sense to me. Because you want to build and grow out the fucking universe, and like you can't do that if everybody. Like I guess you can, but like I don't want to stick with. Yeah, like do we really want the same? I don't know, but like I would love to see Angel be a part of it, and like I don't know. Kelsey Grammer came out earlier in the week or last week and was like, "Oh, I would love to do Beast again." And I'm like, "Please God, no! I hated Kelsey Grammer's Beast."
Not a fan myself.
Yeah, I'm not a Kelsey Grammer fan at all, and like. I do not want that Beast back. I would love for them to do something different with it.
Yeah, I'm good on that. Like I even with Hugh Jackman, like I'm happy Hugh Jackman's coming back and that Ryan Reynolds finally gets to play with him because like they've been teasing that for so long. So like, it's like that would be the only place where would be okay with Hugh Jackman coming back. But like ultimately, at the end of the day, like, yeah, it's time for something fresh and something different. Like, I don't need to see Kelsey Grammer show up as Beast. Like, again,
No.
like I'd love to see a Beast done right. Like, even though I like Nicholas Hoult as Beast, like I would like
It still wasn't good.
story. Yeah, yeah. All of the
I totally agree with you.
stuff is just it's too loosely based. Like, I need something that more in like that brings forth like the true essence of those characters, because like none of them were well done. Like, they're all like built on the likeness of these characters, and I know that's what they all are, but like at least Marvel Studios, I find, does a bit better job, like, you know, like building
adapting things.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah, I mean,
characters in a meaningful way.
I do not want to see like another Dark Phoenix adaptation. Like, put pause on that shit for 15 years.
Again, man, like plant the seeds. Like, on the second movie that we have and Jean's in it, and all of a sudden she has some weird outburst thing or something. Like, it doesn't have to be anything, and it doesn't even have to be relevant for another 3 or 4 movies. But like,
yes, that's what I mean. I don't want that to be a story arc in the next like 2 X-Men movies. Like, please, God, we've gotten it twice, and both times fucking Fox destroyed it.
Yeah.
So just push that down the line. Like, we don't need that right now. And same like the Sentinels and all that. Like, I would love to see Sentinels in the MCU, but like that needs to be a decade from now. It doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
Let it breathe. Let it build. Give us, you know, a whole bunch of different stories that this universe has before you get into that stuff again.
I agree. Nike Boy Jace says, if you could start Phase 7, what movie would you kick it off with? So Phase 7 being after Secret Avengers or Secret Wars, right?
Yeah.
Because Secret Wars ends Phase 6, right?
Yeah. Secret Wars ends Phase 6.
You say X-Men? I mean, obviously, I would love to say X-Men, but
I think if these shorts that we're talking about for X-Men start coming out over like the next, like say 2024, 2025, they start trickling these things out, then I think X-Men will be at the beginning of that phase. But if we get zero mention of like these characters until the end of Phase 6, then X-Men will not start that phase.
I agree. I mean, I guess it kind of depends on how they finish up Phase 6. I personally think Phase 6 is going to end with a soft reboot, just like in the comics where they merged a bunch of worlds together. And like basically we got like Miles Morales in the 616 universe because they folded the Ultimate Universe into it or whatever. Like, I think that's ultimately what will end up happening at the end of Secret Wars is they'll use Secret Wars to basically like wipe the slate clean and be able to like tell a story without having to rely on something that's happened in the last 20 years of films. Like, that's what I think will ultimately happen. So, like, I guess it kind of depends on where we ultimately pick things up. But, you know, just in terms of being an X-Men fan, like, by that point, I'm going to be ready for some X-Men. Like, I already am ready for X-Men, but...
I've been asking for X-Men for fucking forever, and I've been asking for a fucking Gambit movie for 22 years. So...
I love Gambit, but I don't love Channing Tatum as Gambit to me.
No, I don't want Channing Tatum.
Weird go. But I mean, I don't know. Gambit's definitely not the first. I feel like there's better stories that could be told than Gambit's, but from the X-Men anyway.
I love Gambit. Give me Gambit.
Yeah, no, you do. I like Gambit too. He's good. But
yeah, no, I mean,
like Rogue and Mystique might be fun. Would be kind of cool. So
yeah, I think Rogue would be like a good intro to the universe of like a younger, like early 20s girl with powers. Like, I think that would totally work. I could totally see them starting with Cyclops, even like just because he's like the leader almost of like so many things. I could see them doing a whole Cyclops origin story and Scott Summers and all that stuff. Like,
I would love to finally get a Scott Summers that's done right. So
same.
All on board for that. So.
Yeah.
Manuel Loco 69 said, I heard that Bolivar Trask might appear in the Marvels.
I could see that because
I'm all for them introducing characters that are gonna be important down the line now. That's cool by me. So He also said, "Would you guys like to see Goop in the MCU?" I know who Goop is, but I'm not super. I don't know him that well. I'm
I
not
don't even know here.
I kind of got out of reading comics in like the late '90s, and then picked it up again like 20 years later. So,
Yeah.
and then by that point, Goop was around, but like, and I didn't really care about him, so I don't know who it is. Seems like a weird character to bring in. It's kind of like almost like a Slimer. Like it's like green, Goop floats around, has a big X logo on his chest. And then he said thoughts on Namor. I fucking loved Namor. Did you see that there won't be a Namor Submariner movie because Universal? It's the same thing they have the issue with Hulk.
Yeah, I saw that today.
That's a fucking bummer. I mean, the thing is like, I mean, I would love to see a Namor movie, but like, where else do you put him if it's not attached to Black Panther? That's my concern. Is like,
I think he's just going to show up as a mutant in some of these movies. Like, I don't see them doing. To me, like, do you really need a Namor standalone movie? To me, it's like he can be a part of a group movie and it would be fine. He doesn't need a standalone movie. Like Hulk, I'm bummed because I would love World War Hulk, or I would love a standalone Hulk thing. And, I mean, I think that's going to happen anyway, because I think Disney's just going to say, Universal, here's $100 million. Shut the fuck up.
Their contract with that ends next year, or 2024.
Perfect.
So I think
it's going to happen anyway. So, yeah.
That would be a fun take. Emmanuel Loco says, "What about Beast Darkseid? Bad and selfish dictate? Yeah. What does that say?
I can't see it.
Something bad and selfish he often takes in the comics. Would be nice to see a secretly bad Hank McCoy. I mean, it would be cool. I guess it kind of depends on where they pick us up, and I mean, I guess they could. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool, but
I think it. I think it could go either way. Like, I think Beast could be, obviously starting off the whole X-Men thing, but I also think like you could do like a dual. He's kind of playing both sides, and he's kind of, this intelligent scientist that's gonna, end up fucking causing havoc for the X-Men in a future movie or whatever. Like, I think there's multiple ways to play it, but I just want a different Hank McCoy. I hated Kelsey Grammer's, and I don't know. I just want them to do something different with it, but I was never a huge Beast fan anyway, so.
That's fair. I just would love to get the original team. I think it would be different, and like it'd be fun to focus on mutants that normally don't get as much.
I would love a good Angel.
Yeah,
we've never gotten that really. I mean, he was in X3 and it was terrible. So
Angel is like one of those characters that I've never been a fan of Angel. I've never been a fan of Archangel. Anything Warren Washington or Worthington or whatever ever.
Yeah.
Like, any character he was, I was never really a fan. So.
I think thoughts on how could Thor's storyline should end after all this Chris Hemsworth struggle. I don't think he'll be back in anything for a long time. I think maybe in one of the Avengers movies he'll be back as Thor, and then that will end it. Like,
yeah,
I can't.
Well, he's kind of going through a health thing. Didn't he find out he has he's
susceptible? He's susceptible to Alzheimer's. Like,
yeah.
Like basically he has like a higher, like 10 times higher chance than a normal person getting it.
Right.
Like I said, watch Limitless if you're curious on like his thought process through that all, because that show really examines why he's taking a step back from acting and everything, and it's really well done. I respect his decision. Like, to me, I would do the exact same thing if not even like health wise, but like to me, it's like, what else does he have to prove as Thor? Yeah. Like, he's done 8 movies as Thor. Like, he doesn't need to do the character anymore. He's made his fucking money. He has a beautiful family. What do you need? Well, like, step away, spend your money, enjoy your hot wife and your beautiful kids. Like, I don't think he needs to be Thor anymore. But if he's contractually obligated to be like one more time or whatever, like, okay, Avengers, whatever one he's going to be in. End it. Like, have him step away. Have him raise his kid in the Thor universe that he has after the end of Love and Thunder.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I guess it'll be interesting to see, but the thing is even with getting a Thor sequel, it's like, where does that fit in the current time, like the current movie layout? Like, there's just so many, like, it's so stacked. I know there's a couple gaps that like are kind of untitled, but like, you'd assume that they'd be saving those for stuff that's just not yet announced, or like upcoming projects, not necessarily like sequels. But I mean, I guess you're eventually going to have room for more sequels, especially as, you know, things could continue to come out.
The problem is, right, is like, if we got a Thor 5, I don't think it would be till phase 7.
Yeah, probably.
So, like, they're going to do a Shang-Chi sequel for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do an Eternals one, but
no, I don't either.
I don't know. Like, they still got Blade coming out. They still got the Fantastic Four movie. Like, there's still enough stuff that is coming out that I don't think they necessarily need to do another Thor. I don't know. We've kind of got his story. Like, I don't know how much more you need of Thor. Like, to me, it's like, he's done a great job. Like, let's just step away and do something different.
Well, the thing is even if you stepped away, you wouldn't even have to say it ended. You could just say it's kind of on hold for now, right? So, like,
yeah, he was out raising his kid.
Everything is kind of set up to be like good in his world. So just let it be, and you don't.
And they can still use New Asgard as like a set piece in some of these movies without Thor being a part of it, right? Like, So, I don't know. I don't know. I think they have to start bringing in all these new characters that they use and start developing these characters and start stepping away from the original, 5 or whatever. Like,
I agree.
Give that all time to breathe. And you've spent all these movies bringing in all these new people. Like, you need to develop them now.
Manuel Loco says, personally, even if this is called Multiverse Saga, it's kind of hard to find any connection between these Phase 4 movies. Yeah, I know we kind of have talked about that in the past, about how it's that's the biggest downfall of this phase to me, is just like nothing feels like they're relevant to one another, which, like, that's a big part of what I love about the universe, is that everything has a place, even if it's just directed, like, even if it's just with a mention of the blip or something like that, you know what I mean? It's like, that's the kind of stuff that like really adds a lot to me, to that world. So to have it all feeling so segregated is a bummer.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the best part of this phase is it's over. The Guardians special ended it. We're into phase 5 now, starting with Ant-Man, and I'm hoping that phase 5 is really interconnected, interweaved. It really starts bringing all this phase 4 stuff into it and making it matter.
The thing is,
you got new leadership
for that to happen, right? Like, in phase 4, you can tie a lot of or phase 5, you can tie a lot of things from phase 4 together. And like, if they do that, then that's great. Then to me, that's very, smart to be able to do that in retrospect. But
totally,
I feel like they need to do something, because I feel like that's the biggest weakness of phase 4, is everything just feels too alone. Everything just feels too to itself. So like, when you get no crossover to the greater universe, it's like, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what it's going to head towards, is tying back all this random stuff from phase 4 and making it worth having seen. And I don't know. I think the new leadership at Disney's, or the new old leadership or whatever, I think it's going to probably be a push. But I don't know. I'm always going to go see the new movies. Like, I'm excited for it, and I hope that phase 5 is better than phase 4. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm hopeful of that too.
What do you think about the diversity that is taking over the movie industry, more specifically Marvel? I think it's great. Tell your stories. I have no problem with it. I think if it's like mandated, I think it's an issue. When I think directors and creators and writers need to tell the story they want to tell, and if that is a very diverse cast, that's excellent. And the more people are in things, the better. I think it only makes a product better. But you got to tell the story you want to tell. It shouldn't just be diversity for diversity's sake,
I agree. I like the change. I like the little changes and stuff like that. To me, they're good. And at the end of the day, it's funny because I never really like thought about it. I guess that's the privilege of being a white male, but I never really thought about it too much until like I have a couple friends who have kids who are not white, and he was kind of saying that like when his kids saw like Sam as Captain America or whatever, like how much that meant to them or whatever, right? And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess because I don't really, everything's always been catered to me, so I've never really noticed it as much. So
Totally.
but the fact that like, you know, I never even thought about it from that angle, and like being able to like picture yourself in it regardless of what color you are, regardless of what your gender or your orientation is, or like,
Yeah,
to
I
me, I
mean,
think that's a really great thing. So
for sure. I've never been that guy though that like puts myself in those roles. Like I've never been like, oh, because Captain America's white, I could be a Captain America. Like when I watch things, I'm generally not putting myself in the situation. I'm watching it as a piece of entertainment.
yeah, but
So
I don't
like,
mean it as an adult as much as I mean it as
no, even
like,
as a
you know,
kid,
'cause,
like I never,
oh really?
like I guess as like Power Rangers and stuff like that. Like I played Power Rangers outside, but like I was never like,
Dude, I thought I was a Power Ranger because I had a watch.
yeah, well, you know, but
When I was a kid, I used to make that noise, and then I would like look around and like run around corners and be like, "What up, Zordon?"
we were so cool. um, but yeah, like I've never watched things thinking like, oh, I wish this character resembled my life more so that I could relate to it. Like I think having different characters makes you think differently about culture and about people and their different backgrounds and their perspectives on things, and seeing a gay character or a black character or whatever. Like I think that only gives people more perspective on their own life. So the more diversity you have, like great, it teaches people things that they may not have in their own neighborhoods or their own country or whatever. Like there's a lot of places in the world where it's a very singular group of people,
Yep.
you know?
That's a good point.
So
Manuel Loco said, personally, I'm Mexican. I felt so emotional and totally loved the way they turned Atlantis into a new and deep world with Neymar. So identified. Yeah, that's great, man. See, that's exactly what I mean, though, right? Is it's like,
yeah,
it's cool to have that recognition as a, you know, I hate to say minority, but like, you know, when everything
right.
is white and like
A
it's
minority
always
in at
been
least pop
white.
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's so cool for people to be able to like appreciate that just for what it is. Like I think it's good. I think it's a great thing. So
like I'm hoping that with the next couple Spider-Man movies, like I hope Miles Morales is a huge part of it, because I think Miles is an interesting character, and I think it gives a new perspective to Spider-Man, which we've gotten, you know, 8 movies of whatever. Like we don't need more Tom Holland Spider-Man necessarily. I think it'd be interesting to take a new take on Spider-Man. So
I'd love to
I don't
see
know.
more. I mean, I'm not ready to give up Tom Holland yet, but
No,
I
but I
don't
think the
think there's
next
any
movie,
reason we can't have both. So
I think the next movie is totally fine to start transitioning over to like him realizing, or next couple movies, whatever it is, like him realizing that he can't do this long term, or he doesn't want to do this forever, and like him starting to like show Miles the ropes and whatever, and like him wanting a life of his own with, you know, MJ or whoever, and I don't know. I think there's like a lot of story you can tell with that, of like some of these characters realizing, like, especially with the way they handled Tony Stark, like he never got to really live his happy life, and maybe Tom Holland sees that and goes like, I lost, you know, my mentor. I can be that mentor for somebody else and still get a life that I'm not going to die and lose my family on, you know, like.
yeah, totally. Nike Boy J says Marvel, in my opinion, went downhill when they started making all the Disney Plus shows. It was quantity over quality.
Yeah, I think that's Phase 4 in general, is quantity over quality, but I don't think it's necessarily because of the Disney Plus shows. I just think they had the streaming platform that they needed content for, and they were like, this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to build it out. But do I wish there was less and everything was higher quality? Yeah, for sure.
I think it's hard too because Disney Plus came along right at the end of like the Infinity Saga. So it's like you're using this new platform to build out a new phase in like with way more content. So it's like it would be more interesting to see how they would have handled Disney Plus during the Infinity Saga and how that would have worked would have been cool to see how, but that's the hardest part is like, because we're getting out of the Infinity Saga at that point, it's already tough to like move ahead. Like, how do you move on after Endgame? You know what I mean? So it's like,
right.
So it's got like the cards stacked against it, really. Like, you're starting a new phase of a story that just lasted 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, whatever it was.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think, if Disney Plus was around during 2008, 2009, when they were first putting out these movies, like, you can be sure that they would had really bad MCU quality shows on it, because I'm sure it would have been like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. type stuff,
Yeah.
But I think it takes time. Like, I think the early Netflix shows generally weren't very great either, and they slowly figured things out and made better content.
That's true.
So I think this is like a learning experience for Disney, is like how to put out premium quality content, how long things should be, how many episodes things should be, how the budget should be, all that kind of stuff. I think it's a learning experience, and I think they're finally, hopefully figuring it out.
I agree.
I think we should probably end this episode because we're almost at 90 minutes.
Yes, we are. That sounds good.
Thanks everybody for all the chat. Like, this has been great. Nice little comment section going on, and we always appreciate that here. But we'll be back next week. I don't even know what we're going to do next week, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we have to think of something.
Obviously, we talked about last week too that we'll be moving to YouTube in the new year. Just reminder of that in January we'll be moving the live show to YouTube, and it'll still be on podcast services as well. But it's an opportunity to give the show a better quality video and audio, and Instagram doesn't allow us to do that. So that'll be happening come January. But for now, please follow us on Instagram at Moose Milk Media and at Customs by Matthew. Go over to our YouTube channels, subscribe there as well. What are you doing this week on Whip Wednesday?
This Wednesday, I'm gonna make some bendy cape pieces for Banshee and Warbird, the customs I'm working on. So
very cool. Nike Boy Chase. One thing I must say, She-Hulk was way better than Endgame.
I know everybody hates
you're not
She-Hulk, but I really liked She-Hulk. I thought it was great. I didn't like the ending, but I liked everything else. The last episode was like too far for me. I was like, no. There was bits of it that I thought were funny, but yeah, overall, no.
Not for me.
But yeah, I actually like She-Hulk. So I thought She-Hulk was pretty fun.
Wonderful.
But it wasn't better. Wonderful. But it wasn't better than Endgame.
So is X-Men Origins Wolverine. X-Men Origins Wolverine's the best comic book movie. So
it's true. So true.
That's the end of the episode. Subscribe on podcast services and all that fun jazz. And we'll be back next weekend with another episode 91, and we'll figure out what we're talking about during the week and post sometime on Instagram what our actual topic's going to be. But thanks everybody for coming by, and we'll see you next weekend.
Fucking A.
Farewell, buddy.
Peace.